So let's talk about the plan as of now, as has been put out by the Israeli Defense Forces. What they have essentially told the Palestinians residing in Gaza Strip is that this is the corridor that has been provided to them. Now, this is the whole of Gaza Strip, and that's Egypt. Remember, there are several Palestinians, as is, who are wanting to make their way to Egypt. Those are, of course, the ones who possess international visas. Apart from this, this is the northern part of Gaza City, as has been highlighted here. Gaza City, Wadi Gaza, and this, the Israeli Defense Forces have said, must be evacuated by the civilians in Gaza Strip at the earliest. Like I said, they've given a local time from 10 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. and have said they're not going to be striking between these many hours. This is the time limit, basically, which has been provided by the Israeli Defense Forces for civilians residing in the northern part of Gaza Strip to leave, to move towards south of Gaza. Let me quickly go across to Rishabh, who is also with us. Now, Rishabh, given that the Israeli Defense Forces have given a permitted time to civilians in the Gaza Strip to come out with a plan, to come out with perhaps a strategy to move southwards, we are learning, though, from the IDF itself that several Hamas groups are blocking that attempt by civilians in the area.
Well, definitely, the Israeli Defense Forces have now claimed that they have met Gaza civilians who are moving northward, southward, saying that when they were moving from south to north, that the Hamas terrorists are not allowing them to move. Remember, Hamas has been using civilians in Gaza to shield themselves against the Israeli counteroffensive that has begun after the terror attack that happened last Saturday. Now the IDF has come up with a video which shows that how these Hamas terrorists are stopping the civilians to actually move northward, given that, the way things are, and they can be used as the shield, human shield against Israeli counteroffensive, given that the Israeli forces are all set to start the land offensive very soon.
Absolutely. So the one claim, rather defense that is coming in for the Hamas, when they say that there are innocents who are residing in the Gaza Strip and they may come under direct attack of the assault which is being planned by the IDF. This is the response coming in from the IDF that, look, the Hamas groups, Hamas terrorists are now using these innocent civilians as human shields. Let's quickly talk about more details coming in. Many thanks for that, Rishabh. More input suggesting IDF once again putting out on social media has posted this phone call of a Gaza resident that Hamas is not letting civilians leave. Like we said, was so far a claim which was made by the IDF. Now they're corroborating it with proof. They've put out this post wherein they say they have a phone call as proof to suggest that Hamas is not letting innocent civilians leave, rather move towards the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Let's quickly talk about more details trickling in. As far as the evacuation plan is concerned, reports also suggest that Israel counteroffensive has been delayed due to bad weather. Amid this, now the IDF has claimed that Hamas terrorists are now blocking exit routes and the lives of civilians do not matter for terrorists. So that's the latest claim as is being made, and those are the visuals we're talking about. This is a visual that's been highlighted by the IDF, who say that the two trucks, the two big vehicles you can see marked in that visual, are the trucks that have been put in place, the big vehicles that have been put in place to block this particular stretch, which may be used by civilians to move southwards. And as families of those taken hostage pray for their well-being, their worst fears might be coming true. Reports suggest that some bodies have been recovered by troops just inside the parameters of the Gaza Strip, which could be the remains of some of those who were taken hostage by the Hamas terrorists.
There are people that are still unaccountable, and we don't know where they are. And so there are operations which are mostly in the close perimeter to the defense area, including special forces, ground forces, tanks, artillery, in order to seek and find people that may have been killed in the escape or in the exchange by the terrorists, by Hamas terrorists on the Gaza side of the perimeter. And that was the goal of the operation. As I said, there are still people unaccounted for. There are still bodies missing. The number of the dead keeps increasing because we keep finding more victims of this butcher.
So yes, that's the confirmation that's come in from the IDF, which say that they have unfortunately recovered some bodies, certain mortal remains, and they fear that they may be some of the hostages that were taken across the border by the Hamas terrorists when the infiltration first took place, which is last Saturday. So some bodies have been recovered by the Israeli troops right inside the parameters of the Gaza border. And this is the latest that is being claimed by the IDF, that the warning that's been given by them, the warning which has been sent out to civilians in Gaza Strip to move southwards, is also being blocked by the Hamas terrorists. So they're most certainly, the IDF says, using innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip as human shields. Let's quickly shift